You wondering what the best football card insert is? Well, we might just have it here today. Today we're talking about potentially the best football card insert you've ever seen, and that's the World Cup Prizm National Landmarks. And in particular, I'm having a conversation with James, aka Madsy the Collector, who's the owner of the Lionel Messi 2018 National Landmarks Mojo. And this is one of the best inserts that I can think of. And in terms of football, the pedigree of Prizm, of Messi, and what National Landmarks is, makes this, in my opinion, the best insert that you can get if you're a football card collector. Now, before we get into the conversation with James, I promised someone a shout out. That's a friend of mine, Jen, who told me, surprisingly, she listens to this, but she actually listens with her little boy, Archer. And Archer is a Ronaldo fan, and she asked if I had any Ronaldo cards for Archer. So I've got some here for him next time I see him or see Jen. They're coming your way. I don't know which kit you like Ronaldo in, but I've got a few. So let me know if that's not up your street. And there's a particular kit, whether you want Portugal, United, or Juventus, or Real Madrid. But I know your dad's an Arsenal fan, so I'm not sure he's going to be too pleased about that, Arch. So back to today. I've got a great interview with James, and we're talking about the Lionel Messi card that he owns and the set in general, with the World Cup round the corner and Prizm release just around the corner as well. This is a great time to learn a bit more about the first ever National Landmarks insert in 2018 and what that means, and whether you're going to be chasing it in World Cup Prizm 2026.
I've got the Mojo numbered out of 25. And in some way, I mean, I love the design on these. The just like that kind of, I don't even know what you would call that.
It's almost like a hologram mosaic.
Yeah. It was I want to say, was it like Flair Showcase in the 90s, I think, is where the inspiration for, I think, the design comes from, something like that. But yeah, it was the downtowns in the American, like, NBA, NFL had become popular, I think, around that time, and this was kind of Panini's soccer version of that. And in 2014, they didn't really they had inserts, but there wasn't what we kind of view as the, what inserts should look like now, which have some sort of more artistic design rather than just like photography. But yeah, and so in 2018, I guess they kind of rolled out, to make it look more like what had been popular in their other sets. And it was interesting that they released, I guess they were case hits, the unnumbered versions, and then they had the out of 25 Mojo, the out of 5 gold power, and then the 1 of 1 scope, which I almost can't even tell the difference between that and the base version. I think in hand I probably could, but whenever I've seen them sell, I don't even realize it's the 1 of 1 unless I read the caption type of thing. But yeah, and so and again, this was like when I was looking for kind of projects and sets to collect, and inserts really were kind of the popular thing going in the hobby. It's something different. It's something that stood out. And I was just looking at all my different options for collecting an insert set, and I thought that the first instance of National Landmarks, I thought a lot of the players from that set are amazing. It's a way for me to like even connect with the culture of other countries that I wouldn't necessarily collect. And so yeah, I was like, let me just try to put this together. And I thought it would take a long time, because if you look at public sales, like, even the base are relatively infrequent, and then the Mojos were, I mean, I was seeing like 4 or 5 sales of any player per year, not just like a single player, even though they're numbered out of 25. And so I was like, this will probably take me years and years. But and I think and so I had my eyes open, and then I started seeing a few posted on, I think it was Facebook, I want to say,
Okay.
from this guy who was from Peru, and I bought like a few from him, and I started posting them, and then there's a very prolific 2018 Prism collector called Ruben Card Collector who was just heavily collected the set since release. And I asked him, I was like, you're Peruvian, and he was Peruvian, and this other guy was buying from Peruvian. I was like, what's going on here? Like, why are all these Peruvians have all
Why
these?
Peru?
And they explained to me that the United States didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup. And there were a few breakers from Peru because it was Peru's first World Cup in like decades. There was just a bunch of Peruvian collectors who just were just ripping this set. And so there's a bunch of 2018.
Just to try and get the Peru players.
Yeah. And so anyway, so like, Ruben Cards Collector, he had a bunch of friends who had a bunch of these. And I ended up buying 29 of the 32 within a 3-month period. And like I said, there hadn't been 5 sales of Mojo's total publicly in the previous year. So it was like kind of this weird, like, again, like you said, putting yourself out there as a collector, kind of cards will find you.
Yeah.
And I was a little better negotiating with the set than I was the Wayne Rooney in the sense that I was like, this is what I'd pay for them. They wanted double what I wanted to pay for it. And I was just like, well, this is what I'm willing to pay. And then they finally came down to my price. But now I think they definitely have gained a little more notoriety, and so like the sales have been stronger recently.
I mean, I've always loved the design on the national landmarks. They're just so cool looking, and they kind of nailed it. And I feel like it's not often, especially in modern cards, that they nail a unique design like that. Quite often the inserts are a bit kind of silly, and they don't quite get it right, and there's something's a bit off. But that national landmarks, the landmarks they've chosen, in each of them are all really good, and it seems like the players they've chosen are good. Quite often you'll go, why have they chosen that player and not the best player?
Yeah.
But in like when you've got like Mo Salah and Son and Messi and Ronaldo, and even the smaller teams, they've got their heroes, so collectible for people from those countries.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like one of my favorite things to do, I mean, I guess it's kind of nerdy, but I was like, I almost experienced the landmarks in the background of these cards. I was, as kind of when I was posting some of them on my page, I'm like, how about I just, like embed the image of the card with the national landmark in the background, and I would like research all the landmarks from the countries as part of my like little post I was going to do. So it was just interesting to kind of just see all, go through these national landmarks and like why they're landmarks and things like that. And so it was just a fun call.
I love that.
Yeah, just a fun call all around to kind of interact with on multiple levels, not just like the visual aspect of it, but like you learn something about the culture and the landmarks of the country. So that was cool.
I guess that's similar to history, because a lot of the time I'm collecting and buying old cards, I'm learning about the history of the player, of the era, of what I'm buying, of the card or sticker, of where it's come from, and I think that's part of collecting is the knowledge you gain from it, and it's fascinating. And even for a card that's made nearly 8 years ago, it's not that long ago, you've got something to kind of really learning about and taking an interest in. Like quite often I'd be going, okay, I'd see a card or hear about a player that I'd want to find a card for. And I'd be researching the entire career of that player to see what is relevant. And you start learning, and then all of a sudden you come across stories, and before you know it, you've been on Wikipedia for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see more cards like this, alongside thousands of other sports cards and sports memorabilia, then there's no better place than the Intercity Sports Paradiso at the Amex Stadium in Brighton on Saturday the 30th of May. Searching for soccer fans can get 25% off their ticket price. Just go to the description where you'll get a special discount code. The link's in there as well to the Intercity website where you'll be able to book your tickets. I'll be there as I'm running the vintage and pre-modern floor. So hopefully I'll get to meet you on the day.
When I started collecting, like for Pele, for instance, everyone's heard of him. I didn't know the story that well. Like I know he won the World Cups and all this, but like just the story behind him. I remember I got an audiobook of his like autobiography and just listened to him go through that whole time period. And I was just, and I think I think one of the cards I had sent you previously was that one of him crying, and just like the whole context of why he was crying at the end of the 1958 World Cup was just, I have the context for that. So that's why that card is so cool to me. Because I think Brazil had lost, I think, the 1950 World Cup at the Maracana
in Brazil. In Brazil,
it was a national tragedy.
They were basically already celebrating it. Yeah, like a day of mourning.
Yeah,
basically.
and so like winning it, coming back and winning it, 8 years later was like, he had grown up with that kind of that trauma of losing that match, and this was like a very cathartic moment for him and for the country. So that was like I made that card so interesting. That's so interesting when you have that backstory.
And I think like I said, it's more of a rarity in modern cards to have something with a story behind it as well. So to have that in 2018, and the inserts, that hasn't been the case in sets since 2018, has it? That was just particular to that year. The numbered cards.
Yeah, correct. So they did release the set again in 2022, but there were no numbered parallel versions. It was just a base set. And the other interesting thing is they only have 31 of the 32 teams. For whatever reason, the France card never got released, and I've never gotten an explanation for it. So it's kind of an oddity.
It's such an easy one to do as well.
Yeah, I mean, you assume it was Mbappe, but like, what happened to it? Like,
Eiffel Tower, Champs-Élysées. It's easy.
Yeah, did they include something in the card that was somehow trademarked that they couldn't like legally put out? Like, I have no idea what it would have been. Like, did they have some dispute with the French Federation or something? But no, all the other cards are licensed, so I don't know. Like,
for that, Mbappe National Landmarks out of 5 would be worth a few quid, wouldn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine if if it had been Mbappe in the 2018 versus I mean, Griezmann was arguably the more important player in that World Cup, but so it's appropriate that he's on the card. But yeah, Mbappe landmarks would be wild if he was in 2018 especially.
Do we know if it's going to be in 2026?
I have the landmark set in general. Yeah, I would assume so. Because they also included it in the 2024 Copa America. They also had a bunch of landmarks in that one too. So that is where Neymar's only. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I think that's his only landmarks. Because Gabriel Jesus was in 2018, and Vinny Jr. was in 2022, and then Neymar was in 2024 Copa America. So. And that was an interesting. That was kind of an interesting choice for me. Is like the fact that Gabriel Jesus was the Brazil player in 2018, because I think that was almost like looking ahead as a prospect, because Neymar was still the man at that point. So it was interesting. It was interesting.
Was Neymar injured or?
He's in the rest of the set, so it's like I don't. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it seems like they just did it because they thought Gabriel Jesus was going to become the next star for Brazil. Injuries have kind of derailed that, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and then I mean, if they chose him, then why didn't they choose Mbappe? It was kind of interesting, but Griezmann was an absolute star at that point. He was in the peak, peak of his powers at that point. So it made sense to have him in the set.
And do you have many other players still from the set, from your Peruvian?
Oh, from my of the
buying exploits.
Yeah, so of the Mojo, so like I said, I got 29 of 32 in that really short period of time, and then I have since gotten the Heung-min Son. I am still need the Jefferson Farfan, which is the Peruvian player, which It's just kind of funny. I think one has come up for auction, but the price on it was like, I was like, this guy is not a notable guy. Why would I pay? I think it was like $600 or something. I was like, that seems kind of crazy, but I haven't seen another one since. Maybe I should have bought it. And then Cristiano Ronaldo is the other one I don't have. He's pretty expensive, so I haven't pulled the trigger.
That's all Mojos.
Yeah, all Mojos. Yeah. So
all Mojo. Yeah. So that'd look cool having that all displayed all together.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to seeing that one day.
One day, I think I will get it.
Ronaldo and Jefferson Farfan.
Yeah, I think I will eventually will get it one day. I'm just trying to be a little patient on the Ronaldo, because every time I see one post, I've seen quite a few posted, but they're all like crazy, like 25,000, 30,000, 50,000. I'm just like, let me hold off.
And to be honest, sometimes I'm not like on cards I'm searching for and that are long-term goals. When I miss out on one, there's always that initial disappointment. But then I often think, well, I now get to continue looking for it. Yeah. The half the fun is the chase, and once you get it, the chase. What? Right. You move on to the next thing. So having that, you've only got a couple of cards to get. Once you've got them, you've completed it, which is very satisfying.
Right.
But it also means you're no longer looking for them, and that's half the fun is looking for them.
Yeah. And the gold vinyls are so rare and so expensive. Like, even if I went on to try to collect those, they're almost impossible to find. So my collecting would kind of be over, I think, for that set at that point. But it'd be cool to have them and obviously, like you said, display them. But yeah, I've been waiting 3 years to try to pick up the gold 2017 Mbappe, because that would complete my gold set for that. And so I'm just like I'm stringing out a little bit until I find the right copy at kind of the right price type of situation. So
yeah, that's it. I mean, you've got to be patient. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just basically a guy who's just spending loads of money.
Yeah. So it's in Mbappe, it's like there's kind of been an ebb and a flow of his popularity. I think he's back in style to collect, but he was definitely out of style to collect there for a couple years. Things definitely corrected heavily in terms of how much it costs to buy a lot of these cards.